I'm discouraged. I've cried a few times this morning. We can meet at Brady's store, but as you can tell, the entire roadway is washed and my vehicle's already stuck in water, so there's no way I'm going to make my kids walk through that.
Oh, wow. So that is a mom in Montesano trying to get her kids to school. And that's a look at the area out on State Route 12 where her home and her neighbors are flooded. We have seen visuals all like this week in Southwest Washington. But this morning, rivers all over the state are flooding.
This winter, it seems that we just cannot catch a break from this flooding. Now, this weather system we're dealing with right now, brushing western Washington, is our 6th in less than 2 months.
Yeah, we asked the experts at PEMCO Insurance about a topic on a lot of people's minds right now, and that's flood insurance. Joining us this morning, Derek Wing. Derek, good morning. Hi.
Morning to you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I mean, if my home gets flooded, let's just go right into this. I mean, I'm assuming my homeowner's insurance covers the damage. That's not the case, though.
Well, it's kind of the case. So It really depends on the kind of water that floods your home. A lot of people think that too, Liz. So you're not alone. But basically, the way it works is home insurance, renter's insurance will cover something like a frozen pipe that bursts. But what isn't covered are environmental floods, things like rivers overflowing or lakes overflowing. For that, you need a special kind of insurance that you can get from the National Flood Insurance Program, which is backed by the federal government.
Gotcha. So we were just hearing from that one homeowner out in Montesano lost their brand new home. It was not covered, and they're on the hook for all of the replacement. So is flood insurance common? How expensive is it? And how many people have it?
Yeah, really good questions, Bill. Unfortunately, probably not enough people have flood insurance. We estimate that only 1 in 4 people have flood insurance in high-risk flood zones, and even fewer do in low-risk flood zones. And unfortunately, that's where 20% of flood claims are found, in those low-risk areas. And with all the weather that we're seeing, you know, your meteorologists are talking about this all the time. Weather patterns are changing, and I fear that there's going to be more flooding in the future. As to how much it costs, I think it really depends on a lot of different situations. You know, where do you live? How close are you to water? You know, we ran some numbers anywhere from, I don't know, $300 or $400 up to $5,000. So best thing to do, contact your insurance company and get some information from them.
I mean, you kind of had an interesting point there that more and more people who live in these low risk areas, so to speak, are having these flood issues. I mean, should anyone who lives in the Pacific Northwest get this?
You know, because I work for an insurance company, I would say it's probably better to be safe than sorry.
Right.
But really, the folks that truly should think long and hard about getting flood insurance are those who live near water, those who may be new to a neighborhood and have heard their neighbors talking about flooding in the past, and those who are just worried about flood insurance. Because the really important thing to remember, Liz and Bill, is that it takes a little bit of time for flood insurance to kick in. It takes about 30 days from the time that you apply for flood insurance until you actually get the coverage. So, like, if you were worried about it and you wanted to get flood insurance tomorrow, it would be too late, at least for this round of flooding.
What about urban flooding, Derek? I mean, we see this from time to time, and some people who never, ever thought that their home would flood are dealing with stuff like that. What would you say for folks who are looking at that type of policy?
I would say it's probably not a bad idea, Bill, as we were talking about just now. Weather is changing. We're seeing more flooding in areas that we never saw flooding in before. It's the best thing to do is just go ahead and protect your home now before it's too late.
You know, that's a really good point, especially when you mentioned the part about how it kicks in after 30 days. We just did a story today about how a family, actually, we're looking at video of that, where the family just moved into their home and their flood insurance doesn't kick in. So these are really good little nuggets of information. Derek Wing with PEMCO Insurance, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you very much for having me.
Absolutely.